All right, so it's well known at this point that if you anticipate a project taking an hour, it'll take three. You know, if you anticipate it taking 30 minutes, it'll still probably take 3 hours. Um, Saturday, is that right? Could that be right? Well,
That's
really,
correct.
Friday. Well, but really, just to backtrack it, Friday afternoon, uh, I put a screen on our back door and got cocky. And so, I went and got a storm door to put on the front door. And the real thing here is that I was going into this nervous about like four different things. There were like a handful of things that I was concerned that would make it hard to put on the storm door. None of those things went wrong, but then everything that I hadn't yet imagined did. And I'm actually ready. I'm just going to go ahead and stop because, again, if you're asking questions, unless you're a home inspector, shut up. We're not talking about it. We're not talking details, bro. You don't need to know how it's fixed to the front of the house. You just need to know that now there's a storm door on the other side of my front door. And that's it. That's the bottom line. How we got it there is none of your business. You know what I'm saying?
I do think it's important, though, that we clarify that you saw any of the Panthers Cowboys game on Sunday.
Well, I, I when we woke up Sunday morning, I was like, I want to start on the door immediately because we'll be able to finish in time for me to watch the Panthers play the Cowboys.
God
And
can wait. The storm door.
we literally,
Yeah.
yeah. But instead, we finished the door at like 4:15. So like literally, as the field goal went through, I was like putting on the closer on the bottom of the door as our final thing there. So I do have thoughts on the Panthers Cowboys game, but they're also like mixed in with memories about hinges and windows and or not windows, but
Mike, there's
mirrors.
a section in I think it's Mark where it's like three straight stories in a row. They're just trying to trip Jesus up on what he's doing on the Sabbath. You know, it's like he's picking grain, whatever. It's like
Right.
if we were doing a modern day retelling of this gospel story, is it possible that Jesus was putting on a storm door, and somebody came by and said he's working on the Sabbath?
Yeah, dude, they'd be like, are you putting on a storm door on the Sabbath? I'd be like, hell yeah, bro. I'm trying to make it in time for the Panthers game. Sorry.
Look at Henny.
Boy's in. Hey, you're live, King.
And that is a strong stash. That is a strong stash coming in the upper window before I forget it.
I appreciate it. I can jump out. I'm sorry. I didn't know when.
No, you're perfect. You're perfect.
Fine,
Just hang right there, brother.
10-4.
All right, hey, welcome to Two Daves and a Mic. I'm David Allen, DA, along with David Allen, D-Ray. Michael Allen was telling us the storm door story, and our boy Tyler Hendrix, is also in the house. Tyler gave us some excellent feedback on the pod, so we said, hey, you're giving us quality feedback. How about you jump in with us tonight? So Ty Hen jumping in with us tonight, and our draft tonight will be virtue of Ty Hen's listing that he gave us this morning. So we appreciate that. But before we get to that, let's jump in with our Savannah Sweet Tea 6-pack. D-Ray, what you got for us?
Maybe we do a 4-pack tonight. You know, is that a thing? Can you do a buy?
Yeah, they sell it. I mean, they don't even sell a 6-pack, dude. They sell a 4-pack.
You can make your own 6-pack at the grocery store.
You can make your own 6-pack. And today, my 6-pack is going to have 4 in it. How about that?
Make it happen.
Everybody wants to talk about football, but let's start with baseball. Let's start with the Diamond. Michael giving me eyes. Let's just let him take a minute there, make sure he's locked in on the current as the light shines in on his face. So my question.
Hey, sorry, that was me searching. Are there more teams than the Atlanta Braves in the MLB? That was what I was typing into the search.
Well, speaking of the Atlanta Braves, though, let's start with that because we didn't. No, because we missed it last week.
It's a 5-pack. It's now officially a 5-pack. Dad's hijacking the 4-pack.
No. David Ray said last week we had to talk about Snit retiring
fair.
in the Braves managerial search. So before we jump into the pertinent baseball of the AL and NLCS, let's give about 30 seconds to the Braves managerial selection.
Oh, well, okay. So who do you want? That's
Chipper
only
Jones. Come on. I'm going,
Yeah.
let's get Chipper out of wherever he is, whatever he's doing. Let's
you think
get him
Chipper
in
would
there.
come out of the deer stand?
Probably not, but we're going to offer him enough money to make him think about it.
What about like a Brian McCann vehicle? Seems like the catchers these days are making the
Dude, I love
transition.
Brian
I'd-
McCann. I
I love
love
that.
Brian McCann. I would be all about Brian McCann if Chipper turned us down. But I think
Well, I've
Chipper's the
seen
first
Rossi
spot.
too. I've seen.
Well, I think David Ross is.
stars.
I think he's a legitimate front runner for the job.
I like David
The-
Ross.
The Vegas odds, which I don't know how you could bet on this, there are 3 overwhelming favorites:
Walt
Mark
Weiss.
DeRosa, David Ross, and Walt Weiss. Those are the 3 top options.
Well, you know,
and
D-Rose,
from there, it just gets silly, honestly.
well, all 3 of those guys are former Braves. So, I mean, you know, as far as keeping it quote unquote in the family, you can't go wrong with either one of those 3 guys. Obviously, Weiss has been current and has been with the team, was with the team when they won the World Series in 21, has been with them during this most recent run of division titles, et cetera. So, and if that's the case, and they're not going Chipper and they're not going Brian McCann tie-in, you know, I would be okay with Walt Weiss.
Yeah, I think the word on, or I think the thing is, like, if you want continuity, continuation of current regime, then it's probably Weiss. But if you're looking for somebody maybe a little younger, I don't really know. I mean, I'm like DeRosa has no managerial experience. David Ross
How
obviously
much
has
can
a little.
that roster actually shake up, though? I mean, the Braves are kind of infamous for signing guys. They're kind of famous for
10-year
getting
deal.
the pre-arb extension in, right? I mean, you got Mike Dub locked up. You got Riley locked up. Albies is locked up. Olson's locked up. Murphy's locked up. I'm sure Baldwin's on the way to the lockup deal. Like,
Yeah.
It seems like even if you tried to quote unquote change the guard, it's going to be the same bunch till about 2030.
Yeah.
Well,
Can
and
I
also,
ask-
I'll go ahead.
No, I was going to change the subject a little bit, but can I ask why Ron Washington is not in this conversation?
Yeah, Mike, he's having like triple bypass surgery. Like you thought you were putting up
Respect.
video game numbers. His are insane. Like and the best part, Mike, I thought we talked about this, is he stepped away from the Angels, and
Right.
do you not remember? Then they had a photo of him
They
at the
fired
next
him,
game.
right?
No. He
sorry.
he stepped away,
Okay.
and then the next game there was a photo of him in a suite going to town
I
on
remember
a
this.
plate, and people were saying, "Watch, what's happening there?"
You need
So-
a triple bypass, and that's the reason why you
Yeah.
putting in that work on those hot dogs. But
Listen, can I say something in regard to the triple bypass real quick?
sure,
We're going over an hour tonight.
I just want to say, since last week's pod, when specifically we did talk about my health, we did talk about my blood work a little bit, I got in my head, okay? And basically, I think I spent most of the day Wednesday convincing myself that I had developed cirrhosis of the liver and that I was going to have a heart attack. I kept feeling something right here, and I was telling myself that it was my liver, and then I'd be like, no, it's not my liver. And then I would feel it a little bit higher, and I'd be like, I'm having a heart attack. Great. I've since calmed down, but guys, I think I'm going to try to get right on food. I think specifically we're going to be adopting a bit of a Mediterranean diet. I've been doing some research. Here's the big kicker for you. This is a big pro AI take. Okay, I haven't had many.
I take okay. Let's hear
We're
it.
talking about the Braves manager. How did we get here, Mike?
I haven't had many of these. I have not had many of these, but medical journals are long, hard to read, and often a bit inconclusive. What you can do, however, is feed the medical journals to ChatGPT and say, what did they figure out in this? And then they'll just tell you what they figured out. And I've appreciated being able to get some of that concise knowledge. And gentlemen, it's okay to eat nuts. If you're worried about the fat content in your liver, nuts can be good. All right. So that's what we figured out today.
Tyler, has Scott Hendrix ever looked at a medical, what did you say, Mike? A medical journal?
Medical journal. Yeah.
I would say in my life, Scott Hendrix is probably the authority on medical journals.
Oh,
Here we go.
I do want to piggyback on Mike's story about the blood work thing. The last time I tried to give blood at work, they took my blood pressure, and they were like, "Oh, it's a little high. Like we're just gonna, you're on that little bus, like the Red Cross bus, right? And you're in a little room in the back, and it's a little high. We're gonna let you wait out." So they tell you have high blood pressure, and then they leave you in a room where you're like this for 5 minutes by yourself. And the guy came back and he was like, "Oh man, your blood pressure is a little higher." And I was like, can't imagine why.
Why would that happen?
So
Probably should let me go fishing for 5 minutes, and it might have brought it down.
Yeah. No, but
hey man, your blood pressure is a little high. What if we just make it really worse?
Yeah. What if we? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, I'd say my dad. Right now, I'd say the hot thing for my dad on YouTube is he watches a couple heifers. He's got one in particular named Rufus that he sends clips of, and he also is a big fan.
Now, Rufus is not a heifer. Rufus is a big old bull, but I'm familiar.
Rufus is a bull. I apologize for the bovine term.
Dad knows the cow.
Yeah,
I can't believe Dad knows the cow.
And then the other thing Dad is into right now is he just watches videos of like gravel being unloaded at quarries. Like it's just watching a conveyor belt roll at a quarry for like 2.5, 3 hours in a sitting, and just
hey, bro, low-key, I get that though.
Hey, low key, we need to be getting Scott on the pod too.
I was thinking
would be electric if he could figure out how to work his computer. That's the big if. It would be a battle because first of all, the conversation would be like, "I got to use the computer." But
those, back in the day when you could call, I guess you could still just prank call two people and put their phones where it seemed like each other called the other. Scott Hendrix and Rex Davison, just put them and just let them figure each other out slowly. All right, I'm gonna bring us back.
Get us back on baseball, D-Ray.
The question was, and we don't all have to answer it if we're trying to save time here, is craziest thing you saw in baseball this week, because there was a play last night in Brewers Dodgers that somebody can take if they want to take that. But I just want to say this: Mariners Jays game 1, coming off of Mariners having played the 15-inning game 48 hours earlier.
The 15-inning game was immaculate.
Yeah, but the game 1 of the next series, only 100 pitches pitched by Mariners pitchers after a 27-pitch first inning. So the Blue Jays were just absolutely hacking. And so, 8 innings, 73 pitches after you got Bobby Miller to throw 27, or not Bobby Miller. That's the guy that Tyler traded me, Bryce Miller. That's the craziest thing of the week for me. And then if you guys have one you wanted to throw out, feel free.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say the double play that the Brewers pulled on the Dodgers last night, bases loaded, long fly ball off the bat of Max Muncy, looked like it was going to be a grand slam, and it actually hit off the outfielder's glove, then hit the wall, and then the outfielder caught it all kind of in one motion. So it was enough of a confusion that the runners didn't know what to do. So he threw to the plate. Actually, I guess he threw to the cutoff man who threw to the plate. And they got the force out on the runner at third at home. And then Contreras just jogged down to third base because the guy was still standing at second. And so they were able to turn a double play in the most obscure way. And as it turned out, it didn't matter. They still lost the game 2-1, and the Dodgers took a 1-0 lead in that series, but a crazy play nonetheless in that Brewers-Dodgers game.
To piggyback off that, and this wasn't necessarily this week, but Sal Frelick, the guy in center field that made the not catch, there was a clip a couple weeks ago where Pat Murphy was talking to Bob Costas about benching Sal Frelick for missing a cutoff man. And the clip, First of all, Pat Murphy, just all-time baseball dude, I think.
For sure.
But the clip was like, yeah, Sal knows better. Bob Costas was like, what do you say to him in that moment? He was like, absolutely nothing. I don't say anything to Sal, and I certainly don't say anything nice. He was like, I tell him he should stop doing the crossword puzzle in the locker room, and that he should be filling out applications for his MBA to go back to school because he's 5'7" and 140 pounds, and he's not going to be in the show very long.
God bless.
It's an incredible clip, and he's like stone-faced the whole time, and Costas is just like, okay.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
mean,
Tyler's-
Southfield, like three war player. I would say, like, hits in the middle of that Brewers order is kind of like a firecracker kind of guy, like Gold Glove defender, perennial all star at 22, 23 years old, and just kind of getting bullied by his coach, which I think is pretty funny.
You never grow out of it. Tyler's thing wasn't exactly from this week. My thing's not exactly about baseball, but I'll still give you something crazy. And it's that my boy Luke Tuttle won a raffle today at his office, and they gave him 30 bottles of Sweet Baby Ray's.
Oh,
Bro, what?
Mike, that's got nothing to do with the. I thought it was going to be at least tangentially related.
tell
Wait, hold
Luke
on.
to
He won a
put the
raffle. They
brother
gave
up.
him 30 bottles of Sweet
30
Baby Ray's.
bottles, allegedly different flavors too. I'm seeing this.
Oh, wow.
It's 30. I'm looking at this. It's the party sauce. It says party sauce first. The sauce is boss. And I'll tell you what, who knew that Sweet Baby Ray's was making 30 sauces? Not me.
Not me.
Nope.
Not me.
Not me. So yeah, that's what I have to share for my crazy thing from the past week.
Yeah, my other baseball take is just the Mariners, Blue Jay, and the Blue Jays. I mean, the Blue Jays absolutely just hit the cover off the baseball against the Yankees. That's what well, they didn't really do it in game one, but they did it in game two. Just absolutely hitting balls out of the ballpark. So interesting. We'll see if they can come back from 2 down. That was my pick, along with the Dodgers, to be in the World Series. So
Yeah,
we'll
Dad,
see.
you're still alive. You're still
Yeah,
alive. Me
still
and Michael
alive. I'm
still
still
at the
kicking.
park.
None of you guys picked the Reds to even advance. It was
Sorry about that.
So disrespectful of us.
It
No
was, that was
disrespect.
honestly, that was literally a JV varsity inter squad game when your opponent came to. It was a miserable 2-game set for my Reds.
All
What's
right,
next, D-Ray?
I'm gonna take us into like a college football / NFL mix question here, which is what's in the water in Indiana. We have the Colts at 5-1 through 6 games, most points scored in the league, and Kurt Signetti and them boys upset Oregon this weekend in the top 10 game between Indiana and Oregon. And also let's combine a third question since we're getting this down to a 4-pack. James Franklin obviously fired at Penn State over the weekend, and a lot of people saying Kurt Signetti's name as a possible hire for them. So take that and run with it in any direction that you will, whether it's Colts, Hoosiers, or James Franklin.
I'll
Well,
start with
shut-
James. Go ahead, Michael. No, you go
No,
first.
you go ahead.
Well, I just was going to say James Franklin, not surprised after losing those 3 games that he got canned. $49 million buyout, second highest ever to that one. Jimbo Fisher got bought out at Texas A&M, which was, I think, 70 something. That's crazy, but apparently Penn State got plenty of money. The other thing is I kept hearing, or I have heard, like, it's not been 3 weeks, so it's not like I've been hearing for 3 weeks. I've been hearing for 2 days. Matt Rule, former Carolina Panthers head coach, now the Nebraska head coach. He's a Penn State alum. He met his wife at Penn State. He's got a great relationship with the AD at Penn State. Dude, they better not hire Matt Rule. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's actually the angle I was going to take at it, Dad, and it's because I watched Matt Rule answer the question. I don't even know what the question was exactly, because they don't often include those in the clips. I think it was something like, "What do you think of the James Franklin news out of Penn State?"
Yeah.
And Matt Rule gave such a diplomatic politician, I'm trying to angle myself for this job while also saying how much I love it here in Nebraska answer. I mean, it was like seriously kind of comical how political his answer was. And I think it made it very clear that he is interested in that job. I mean, I can't blame him at all. I don't think that anybody is going to be surprised by the fact that he's interested in that job. But I do also think, Franklin had been there since I think 2013. And then you pay him by the way, such a high amount of money that it should be the highest thing to ever happen. If the Jimbo Fisher thing wasn't stupid, this would be number one, and we would all be talking about it like it was historical. But But you spend that much money to get your coach out, I think you better have a pretty good idea of who you want in there. And I'm not sure that you're backfilling with Matt Rule. I think that feels a little goofy, but we'll see what happens. I don't know.
I'll take the
What do you think, Tahan?
the NFL section. I kind of want to hit on the RTP ACC conference quarterback pipeline to the NFL, man. Danny Dimes out there in Indy, that's a Duke product. I saw Jacoby Brissett get a start this weekend. The NFL is full of triangle college quarterbacks. So maybe let's see.
You can't give us a Dookie and a Pack without talking about our boy.
Mitch
Come
Trubisky,
on.
You want me to get Mitch Trubisky and Drake May out there? Sorry, I haven't watched a snap of pro football this year.
Drake May, thank you very much.
And so that quarterback pipeline has always been there, just from the three schools here that aren't necessarily known for football by any means. So I think let's see what's in the water in the triangle, But them boys in Indiana, they're corn-fed. That's a different breed.
Yeah, hey, boys, I don't know that y'all know this, but Rocket's best friend is Danny Dimes' aunt.
Rocket on the pod, by the way. Let's get that. Let's have
for
that.
the people of the pod. This is aunt of the pod, Rachel Smith.
No, we can't get Rocket on the pod. We would never
get
it. We would not get it under 2 hours if we had Rocket on the pod.
I feel like I'm turning into Schedule Dave a little bit because I've been looking at schedules recently, but I just want to point this out. We all agree that the Miami Dolphins, not a good team, right?
Right.
Correct.
All right. Tennessee Titans, not a good team. Yes?
Nope.
Vegas Raiders, not a good team.
Nope.
Arizona Cardinals, not a good team.
Nope.
Okay, so those are 4 of the Colts' 5 wins. Yep. Their other win is a Broncos win when the Broncos had that nonsense happen where they jumped in front of the line and they got a 15-yard penalty or whatever, and then they lost to the Rams. And I'm just sitting here going, are the Colts? I'm not sure. 5-1, a little bit of a cupcake schedule to start.
So good teams win, great teams cover. I'd be curious
That's right.
What are they against?
Let's get on. I don't know. We need to get there.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, the way they've been scoring, I bet you they've been covering. I bet they've been covering. But here's the one thing about the Colts that I got to give them, regardless of what their record is and who they've played. They can run the football. Jonathan Taylor is a stud, and I'm telling you, when all other things are equal, if you can run the football, you can be very dangerous. Very dangerous. As a matter of fact, I think that was the key to the Bears beating the Commanders last night. Is everybody thought the Commanders was going to run the ball down the throat of the Bears, and it actually was the opposite of that. The Bears ran the ball really well last night. Swift had a really good night last night, including that 55-yard touchdown that was the backbreaker for the Commanders. But my boy Bill never got on track, as Alan Ford would say, untracked, which I've never understood that word in journalism. But he never got going, and I thought it was the difference in the ballgame last night. Same thing for the Falcons. Holy cow, Bijan Robinson ran all over the top of what is supposed to be the best team in the AFC.
Colts are 4-2 against the spread, by the way.
Okay. That's not bad.
Not bad. Let's go to our third question in our 4-pack tonight, which is what's wrong in Philly? Eagles fall to the Giants 34-17 on 34-17 on Thursday night. They also lost to the Broncos the previous week. They're 4-2. As we mentioned last week, some worrisome offensive numbers, and they look a little out of sync. So I will, instead of saying what's wrong in Philly, I guess I'll ask it this way: if you are an Eagles fan, are you currently worried about the state of the team, or do you think this is just a couple game skid and they will be back to Super Bowl form in no time?
All right. Well, I have a couple of things to say here then, I suppose. I mean, the first one is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, the Bills are in a very similar situation to the Eagles, minus the Super Bowl win last year.
I actually almost wrote who are you more concerned about, Philly or Buffalo? So fair point, yeah.
Well, my point was just going to be that for whatever reason, it seems that we have more faith. We as a football watching collective seem to have more faith in the Bills almost arbitrarily. I don't really know why. Maybe just because eye test the offenses look different, but they're experiencing the same thing. I'm not really worried about either of these teams. I think they're both really good. I think that the NFL is super competitive. Winning 4 straight games is hard, and that it's not unlikely to drop a couple. I would also say a point about the Eagles that a friend of the pod, Kendall Scruggs, brought up last night whenever we were talking about it is that the tax of being a good team in the NFL is that you lose your coordinators, and you have to spend 5 to 6 weeks at the beginning of every season working kinks out and figuring out how this team is going to operate under new leadership. Even though I obviously know that Sirianni's still there and it's not head leadership, still the tax of being a good team in the NFL is that you lose folks who are in charge, and so I think same goes for both the Bills and the Eagles. They're paying the good team tax. I'm not worried about them. I'm confident we'll be, watching both of them play in the winter and look forward to it. So,
yeah, they're 4-2. They've lost 2 in a row. They didn't look good. The only thing that bothers me about the loss Thursday night was the loss was to the Giants, and the Giants have been less than stellar. Now, second game with Jackson Dart at quarterback, your boy Cam Scatterbo absolutely toted the rock in that game again, running the ball. I think that's the biggest problem with the Eagles at this point is Saquon has not gotten going. They have not given him a lot of opportunities. I think if Saquon gets going, that passing game is going to be just fine. But right now, because Saquon's averaging like 2 or 3 yards a carry instead of 5.5 yards a carry or whatever he did last year, it's putting them in some 3rd and longs, 3rd and mediums that they're having a hard time when offenses or defenses already know what's coming, and they just hadn't made it happen. So we'll see. Obviously they're playing in a division that's not very good. Even the Commanders lost again last night. They're now 3-3. So they're certainly not playing at the level they were last year either. So, and of course my Cowboys, we'll let Michael talk about that in a minute.
Tyhan, any thoughts on the Eagles?
I guess I'm mentally swapping those quarterbacks in my head in terms of just like scheme and like talent disposal. Because like I drafted a lot of the Bills pass catchers in the one fantasy league that I'm in because I'm like, Josh Allen has to throw to somebody because he won the NFL MVP last year. 27 passing touchdowns last year. That's like 1 and some change a game. So he really doesn't have to throw to anybody. And I think my fantasy team is kind of suffering because of that. But no, I think maybe there's a little bit of like good team hangover, like Michael talked about. Kellen Moore would have been the offensive coordinator name I had in Philadelphia. Is that still the case or no?
He's the head coach at New Orleans now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they lost him.
Kevin Patullo.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, he'll probably be I feel like the life of a coordinator is you either do okay enough to get fired or you're the next hot young thing for a head coaching gig that works out and you find your way back to your original coaching tree. Right. I mean,
I think the stat is Jalen Hurts is working for his 4th offensive coordinator in 4 years. I mean, generally speaking, when you say that kind of stuff, especially with head coaches, like everybody's making such a big deal about these number 1 draft picks losing their head coach after 1 year, or in the case of Cam Ward losing his coach 6 games into his first year. You think, well, you got to have some continuity there. And if you don't, then, we're going to, you're not going to be any good. Well, Jalen Hurts has proven that it doesn't really matter if he's got 4 offensive coordinators in 4 years or not. He's pretty dang good.
Right. Same thing for Alabama and his time at Oklahoma, right? I mean, being in those programs, they probably cycle through coordinators. He probably, as a college student had that. So it's really nothing new in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to say some teams, sometimes you're going to suck. All right? I'm sorry. It's what happens. There's 30 teams. We can't all be good. 10 of you are going to suck. And the Titans, I don't understand why everybody's got to fire their coach all the time. You think it's the coach's fault, or you think you just suck and you're going to have to suck for a little bit? I don't know. I don't understand why we have to do the coaching carousel. And I think it would make a lot more sense sometimes if we just said, hey, it's going to take 5 years, and we're going to give this guy 5 years because we suck. Now, obviously, other stuff comes up, and you may realize that somebody's not the guy. But like the Panthers, I mean, we went through head coaches. We had like 4 head coaches in 4 years, or 4 and 5, or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying we need to stop firing people sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, with the Titans, they messed up. They fired Vrabel, and then now they double down. And the thing, I mean, to your point, the one coach who I think is on the hottest of hot seats right now, who I think has had enough time, and now that it's failing, it seems to me like this is regime change time, is Mike McDaniel, because it kind of feels like the gig is up and he's had his chance. And if you get rid of him, they're probably are going to move on from Chris Greer, who is the general manager who has the longest tenure of a general manager without a postseason win. You know, like, you've had your chance. You went into the season with some of the worst defensive metrics and you didn't do anything. And now, you know, every running back they face is, you know, Kamani Vidal or whatever his name is for the Chargers looks like Walter Payton last week, just, you know, gashing the Dolphins D. So,
well, I think though that this is a bigger thing. The bigger conversation here is that decisions are made in these teams in an effort to keep your job. A GM fires a head coach because a GM wants to be able to go back and report, this is what I'm doing for my pivot so that I can keep my job. Similarly, a head coach wants to be involved in doing things on field and making transition and making quarterback changes and making whatever for the same purpose, to be able to say, this is how I'm pivoting. This is why I should keep my job. I think the Panthers probably don't, in retrospect, kind of dumb trade for Bryce Young, in my opinion. I mean, love Bryce, glad that he's bringing us back to 500 or could be here. But, bringing us back to 500 as a team. But also, I think that organizations make decisions like that because there are frantic people who are trying to spin something up as a pivot to keep their job. So why not just give a GM the 15, 20-year keys and just be like, hey, man, just don't freak out. You got this, you know? I think when I own a team, that's what I'll do.
I was going to say, yeah. Well, the Thunder, like, they did that with Presti, right? They gave him the keys.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, Dad, I'm just going to bypass the next 3 questions, but I do have one for you, which is, did you ever enjoy firing somebody? You don't give specifics.
The answer is going to be yes.
Yeah, there was one in particular.
Yeah. That's what I was hoping for.
That's awesome.
All right, awesome. I'm just going to pause there on the 6-pack and just say, was there any other things in sports that we didn't cover that you were just dying to? I know, Michael, you might want a Panthers minute. I don't know if that was it.
No, I just want to say that I'm proud of this team, and that if the Cowboys' defense is going to suck as bad as it does, and they got to figure out how to score. But sucks to be the Cowboys. Glad we're not. The Panthers are coming back, baby. Find us in the playoffs this year. I like what this team's got. At
the New York Jets 1:00 game on Sunday, so a chance to go to 4-3 and be over 500.
I need to do a moment of. I want to do a moment of research to figure out when was the last time that the Panthers were above 500 as an organization.
He's just going to type that in and just whatever the AI thinks.
While he's doing that, I will say I saw a cut from Barstool today talking about Mike McDaniel and Aaron Glenn wearing the capris, and they were basically saying they both needed to be fired for wearing capris on the sideline of an NFL team. So just, I know we've already said Mike McDaniel's probably needs to go in Miami. Really hadn't talked about Aaron Glenn at all, but I thought that was funny. So what you got, Mike? When was it?
Well, this is why AI is stupid, is because the AI thing, like David Ray mentioned, says that the last time the Panthers were over 500 was on October 12th, 2025, when their record improved to 4-2, which is just like not true.
It's not true. Yeah, they're just 3-3 right now. So
you know what I don't trust, and that is AI. But what I do trust is my friends on Reddit, And we've got that if they win against the Jets next week, it'll be their first winning record since October 10th, 2021.
There you go.
Wowzer. So we'll see.
All right. Well, shall we move into the buy or sell?
Take us there.
Start us off, D-Ray. I feel like you've been hosting this whole time and you hadn't got to take off on anything. So
I'm good, dude. I'm good.
Oh, I know, but let's get you a take off on buy or sell.
Okay. Well, I feel like we've been doing kind of sportsy buy or sells recently, and I wanted to bring us out of the sports.
Okay.
I think this is one that I'm going to get some support from my friend Mr. Hendrix up here. I'd like to buy the chicken Caesar wrap this week.
Wow.
It's a play that I will say it could be low floor. There are situations where you could get a bad one, but a good chicken Caesar wrap when you're not sure what you're going to get in it comes out with a good crispy chicken, a nice dose of Caesar dressing. That's what's crucial. I don't want a dry bite. A good healthy romaine, little sweet potato fry, regular fry on the side. I love the chicken Caesar wrap. It's a buy for me this week.
In the wrap or not in the wrap? Yeah,
I mean,
croutons there.
Surprise me.
If they're, I want to know that they're there. I want to know they're there. If they're there, I don't want to be surprised by them because the crunch could scare you. So I want to know they're there. That's my only take.
I love that.
Mom's had us on the HelloFresh lately, where they send you, your meals in a bag and then you fix them. You still have to cook them, but anyway, she made a buffalo chicken wrap the other day that had the romaine, had buffalo sauce, the chicken, and it had some of the dried like French's onions to give that crunch, kind of like the croutons.
Right.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, dude, those onions, by the way, make a broccoli casserole in front of me, and my hand is going to be in that jar all day. Dude, those onions go stupid.
All right, that's my buy for the week. I'll pass it to one of you guys.
Ty-Hen, why don't you jump in? What you got for a buy sale this week?
I think I'm going to sell.
Let's hear it.
I'm going to sell. I guess everybody being a dog owner. I think this one's near and dear to my heart. I walk Levi at least once a day. So we walk him in the mornings when I get up to walk early, and then we usually go for a family walk in the evening. So at least once he gets a walk, and has been lately twice with the good weather. But we see the same dogs chained up, like in the same spots, pounding the same part of the yard, in the cage, and they're all barking. And I'm like, dude, Levi, they're just jealous that you're getting to walk and they're not. So I'm thinking, if you have a dog and you're not walking it or paying somebody to walk it, then you got to give your dog up. Sorry. That's just how it's got to be.
Who do you want enforcing that? Are we bringing in the federal government on this?
Absolutely not. You think I'm paying a three-letter agency?
I was just trying to spark you.
Let's name one three-letter agency that's doing a good job in this country. We'll be here all night. No, that would be a hand up accountability.
I see.
Scout's honor type of deal, like a long look in the mirror type thing. But walk your dog if you got one.
Yeah, I love it. The sell turns into a buy there.
Well, and to throw the Bob Barker on there and have them spayed or neutered too, so that we don't have 600 of them at the pound that need adopted.
Yeah,
that cat guy in my neighborhood needs that conversation. There's 35 cats at this guy's house. It's incredible.
Oh.
All right, fellas, what do you guys got?
Michael, you look
all right.
close.
All right. Yeah, I'll go ahead here. I'm selling this week. Specifically, I'm selling something that's done by my friends over at Hulu. My friends over at YouTube also do this. This is the choose your own ad experience. The commercial breaks. It'll give you like 2 teasing things about the ad. specifically right now, Hulu was doing it about Battlefield, the video game, and it'll be like, do you want to watch about this like SUV or do you want to watch about, gameplay? And I don't care. I don't want an ad. Period. I don't want an ad. What do you think I'm doing here? YouTube. Fill out this quick survey. Is what y'all all know that bum bum bum. No, Tyler doesn't know it because he's on YouTube Premium. Are you on YouTube Premium?
I'm declining to participate every single time.
Oh, so me too. Me too. Whatever it is, decline to participate. 100%. So respect to them for that answer. But here's the thing, YouTube, Hulu, here's what I need you to listen up for. I'm not here for ads. I'm not going to contribute. I don't want to pick. I do end up picking because there's a 10-second timer on it. So if you don't pick, then your ad experience ends up being 10 seconds longer. But I'm choosing random every time. Don't use that data to do anything. Now, let me also give you a quick buy real quick, also along the lines of Hulu ads. I have been talking about 3-letter agencies. I have been tweeting the FCC for almost a decade about Hulu's ads being louder than their television shows because it infuriates me how loud the ads are compared to the TV show. And California just passed a law that says that ads cannot be louder than the content that you're watching. And I hope that it sweeps the freaking nation because it drives me up a wall. So thank you, California. I hope it comes. I hope actually what happens here is that we don't have to regulate it and that because they have to make changes somewhere, they hand up, go ahead and just establish it everywhere so that way they don't end up behind the 8 ball on regulations. But I want Hulu to do the right thing. I think they should put their hands up and do the right thing. And I don't even watch that much Hulu, and it's because of these two things. It's because of these two things, Hulu. I hate your ad experience, and I hate most of your shows. Most of your shows suck. Thank you.
D-Ray, Hulu should be ashamed of themselves.
They should.
Yeah, absolutely.
I left it out this time because I couldn't find a good thing for them to be shameful about.
He got a third base coach fired, and now he got ad reform done, and the state furthest,
While Dad gives his buy and sell, I'm going to look up what I've tweeted at the FCC about this, and I'll share that after Dad's buy or sell.
Oh, my goodness. I was going to turn this into a negative when I started thinking about what my buy was. I was going to buy something, and then I was going to make it a negative, but I'm not. I'm just going to go straight up with it. Had the great all right, first of all, you guys remember, everybody remembers our friend of the pod, coach of the pod, David Bryson was on with us a couple weeks back. And he saw me at a volleyball game the other night because we have a friend of the family is playing volleyball. So we went to watch her play volleyball. And he basically said, hey, if you want to see conference championship action, you need to come to the cross-country meet on Tuesday. So I did. And so that's kind of the impetus for this buy tonight. Listen, I'm buying high school athletics. I know this is a shock to you guys that I would buy something like high school athletics. But listen, y'all, I'm telling you, great story from today's meet. These two guys were running the meet for an opposing school. They were bringing up the rear. They were almost like a lap behind. And it was two guys that honestly could have been playing offensive line for their football team. And they're running cross country. And this is the conference championships. And as the last one, and he was about 50 yards behind the second to last one. And they're both from the same school. And I said to him, hey, dude, you've put all this effort into it. You need to go get him. And so I walk up as they're going up this last hill. I'm at the bottom of this hill that it kills them because it's like straight up and it's about a 30, 40 yard hill. And they're working real hard just to get up to the top of the hill. So I walk and go to the stadium to watch them come into the stadium for the finish. And when they got about 75, 80 yards from the finish line, my guy in the back just went into a full-on sprint and tried to catch the other guy. And they were more or less neck and neck when they crossed the finish line. I still think my guy may have finished last, but I'm just saying, dude, where else you going to get stuff like that? I'm buying high school sports, man. If you're not a fan of high school sports, you need to be.
I love that, Dad.
Make this man the commissioner.
Honestly.
Q Tucker, I'm coming for you, girl.
Coming for Q, yeah.
All right. Well, I've got a couple of things to read to you. Hey, at Hulu, I would literally rather mute my TV and miss my show coming back from an ad break than listen to your loud ads. Unbelievable how loud they are at FCC. Then about 6 months later, at Hulu, I would 100% be more likely to purchase premium if I enjoyed the ad experience I had on the version I have right now. This is about 6 months later. At Hulu, turned down the volume at FCC. And then finally, at FCC, when are you going to do something about at Hulu's ads? So it's finally
Incredible.
It sounds to me like a Christmas present, D-Ray.
That's right.
That's your tax dollars hard at work, Mike.
That's right.
FCC's out there grinding for you, kicking down some
For
guy's
me.
door, kicking down some guy's door in his backyard because he's got an illegal ham radio set up.
Right.
All right, let's head in.
Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead, D-Ray.
No, let's head into the draft. Great draft idea tonight from our boy Ty Hen, which is, I'll make sure I say this right, non-athletic events that you would medal in if they were Olympic events. Did I frame that correctly? Yeah.
Yeah, per the last pod, there was a blurb where it was like Mike, I think, talked about his wedding speech kind of blackout moment.
That's right.
And just, things where you would be really
Bro,
things
can I say something real quick? I said something, I don't even remember. I said something at Tyler's rehearsal dinner that was like the most embarrassing 4 minutes of my life. I don't remember what I said, but I remember it being bad. And sometimes when I'm trying to sleep at night, I'll be like the demons in my head will be like, you gave a terrible speech at Tyler's rehearsal dinner. So, Tyler, I don't remember what it was, but I'm sorry.
I let off at your rehearsal dinner, Mike. And
yeah, you did.
Somebody the next day at the hotel that we were staying at was like, hey, did you talk first last night? And I was like, maybe. What did you think? And they were like, oh, it was so good. And I was like, yeah, that was me.
Yeah, that was me. That's good stuff. Yeah, you pulled a piece of paper out of your back pocket, and I was like, let's go.
All right, so we're going to have Ty Hen start us off, then it'll be D-Ray, then D-A, then Michael. And I honestly, we'll snake because we always snake, but we'll just go 3 rounds here, and let's let our guest, Tyler, kick it off.
I do not think there will be a lot of overlap on this list with the
for sure not. Yeah,
right.
The
the
1-1 pick I am going to take, maybe a reach because I do think there might be some overlap, but I'm going to take making food for a crowd.
Oh, that's great.
Cooking by numbers is what a man from a YouTube video I share often calls it. You have no idea how softly he's holding his pies. But I spent a great summer at Windy Gap as a food service intern. Spent a terrible summer at Sharp Top Cove with Michael as a food service intern.
We had a blast, man. We had a blast.
But this is what Michael and I decided, that other than help kids meet Christ and treat their staff poorly that they do at Sharp Top, they make way too much food. So I've taken that and I've really dialed it in. I got to cook for a bachelor weekend last week, and I had I had no leftovers, but everybody ate as much as they wanted. Nobody had to do dishes. I bought enough water that, I just feel like I got everything dialed in now.
He knows how to yield.
If you need like a small event caterer and you don't need me to be regulated by some 3-letter health agency government board, I'm your guy.
I love it.
It's shocking that how topical my first pick is with what you just did, Ty, because I cooked for a group 2 weekends ago, and with my first pick, I'm going to take cooking bacon for 1 minute too long. That's my first pick. I have moved into the oven realm on bacon. I do fry it if I'm making it at home, but if I'm making it in bulk, I go the oven route, and I made probably 20 pieces of really good bacon, and then the last 2 rounds in the oven, it was looking perfect. I said, let me give it one more minute. And somehow when you come back to that bacon, and it's black, it's just burnt to a crisp. So gold medal for me for just cooking bacon 1 minute too long.
Well, I love that. That's a great take, David Ray. I'm taking the third spot here. I assume that the order doesn't matter too much.
And that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I'm moving here at the third spot. I can't believe that this value is falling to me right here at 3. I'm taking email. You've never met anyone who emails like this guy emails. In a former job, I was responsible for sending something like 15,000 emails a day. Right now, dude, my average open to response is like sub 25 minutes. I'm unreal. I'm next level. They put email in the Olympics. I'm in there. I'm medaling. I'm standing on the podium. Hand on my heart, maybe salute. I don't know. Which one do you do? Civilians?
Hand on the heart.
I think that's a personal preference thing. I don't think this is quite stolen valor in the Olympics, but I could be.
No, you don't. Yeah. No, you definitely don't know. You don't salute if you hadn't been in the military.
But if you're Michael Phelps, are you kind of honoring?
Dude, if Michael Phelps, if Michael Phelps saluted, bro, he's right.
If Michael Phelps saluted,
hand up. I didn't know Michael Phelps.
No,
saluted.
Dad. No. We're saying
hypothetical.
If Michael Phelps wins you 8 gold medals in Beijing and the man wants to throw up a salute, you say that's fine, Michael Phelps. You go right ahead.
I probably would, but I'm just saying, in case you're asking. Since you did ask, I'm just telling. Okay.
All right, Dad. That's the first time we've ever had a pick stolen. So go ahead and give us 2 here.
It's okay. I don't care.
Wait, was I not supposed to draft there?
No, I was 3 and you're 4, but
I missed that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all good because, like you said, there's not going to be a lot of overlap. But Michael does have experience with this, and he probably could do it. But I'm taking the gold medal in leading a pep rally. I don't know.
Dude, yeah, it's true.
I don't know who wants any, but I'm telling you, I will boom chicka boom you to death, and we will be. Can you beat those Shelby lines and pump it? I mean, we got it.
Yeah,
and I'll do
a gold medal in boom chicka boom.
Boom chicka boom, baby, give me that gold.
When I read to unredacted baby named Baby Hendrix of the pod, I hit him with the boom chicka boom when we read chicka
100%, baby, 100%.
It's ingrained in me.
And my favorite thing now, 3 years removed from running a pep rally, and I did it for like 40 years because I was doing it when I was in high school, is when I'm sitting in the stands and all of a sudden I hear the chant go up, "Go Shelby, go Shelby, go." They know that because of me, baby. That's the only reason they know that one. So anyway, and then I'm going to swing back and take the next one. This one is a little sports related, but not exactly. It's sports related in the sense that I would be a gold medalist if there was an event where you got to say something before the announcer on TV says it. If I'm watching any sporting activity, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be something I don't know anything about. It could be NASCAR racing, NHL hockey, WNBA. It doesn't matter. Whatever sport it is, I'm watching it. I got it before anybody, whoever, the best ones and the best. I got them.
Love it.
You're exactly right. I can attest to your abilities there.
I don't know how Katie's going to do this one on Canva. I don't know that we're going to get a.
The images are going to be impossible.
Probably not going to get this one on the poll.
Yeah. Well, right here, is this a 3-thing draft, by the way?
3-round, Mike. 3-round.
Yeah,
Mike.
just making sure. I think I missed that whole part where we were talking about rounds and draft order, but
he's chewing that.
He was looking up his Olu emails.
Yeah, that's probably actually true. I'm gonna go ahead and take Lowe's trip for one thing. I don't think that anybody can Lowe's trip for one thing quite like me. This past weekend, we mentioned the storm door at the top of the pod. I think that I had like 7 individual trips to Lowe's to get one thing. And as soon as I got home, I used that one thing and then realized I needed a new one thing. So just chipping away at $5 to $20 purchases over at the Lowe's.
There it is.
Will Bryant was just telling me earlier that he only grocery shops on Friday. And I was like, dog, if I'm not at the grocery store 4 times a week, it's a miracle. Like, I feel like we're constantly. So I would agree with you, Mike. Except
Now, I have come to learn that this is something that people very much differ on. And like Ty, I would guess, are y'all 1 time a week grocery people?
Mondays.
Yeah, see, I knew it.
I'm happy for you. It's just not happening for me.
I love going to the grocery store, and Lindsay and Grady shop while I go to work on Mondays. So on the off chance that we get to go to the grocery store on Saturday or Sunday when I'm off, or if I have an off day in the week, we're going to the grocery store. I love it. I walk
that.
down every aisle.
See, yeah, that's how I want to do. Kate and I don't get along in the grocery store because I want to peruse and see things that I might want. Kate wants to just go to the things and leave.
Football team running serpentines, man.
All right, it's me here, and I'm going to have to hat tip to Haley Banks for this one because it's become an issue with me recently. This is falling asleep without knowing that you fall asleep. Just 2 nights in the last 3, I have been the one who was asleep and I had let out a little snore, and then I've jolted awake, and Haley asked for the remote and said, You're falling asleep, so can I have the remote? And I said, I just heard somebody snoring and it wasn't me. And she said, no, that was you. And I, honest to God, when it happened the other night, I swear I heard the snore and just assumed that it was Haley, and apparently it was me who was snoring. So falling asleep without knowing you fall asleep is I feel like that's my.
It needs to be studied how embarrassing it is to be falling asleep when you don't think you should be falling asleep. Like, there's no reason for it to be embarrassing. But like, we'll be watching something and I drift off and Kate will be like, Michael, are you awake? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Why would I not be awake? Of course I'm awake. I'm always awake. Of course I'm watching.
Yeah, that was in like the 13th inning of the Mariners game the other night. So that was a tough scene because Haley was having to suffer through that, and I couldn't do it.
That's awesome, man. Good.
All right, Ty-Hen, we go to you for 2 here.
I'm gonna go back to the food honey hole. Put in a lot of work at the NC State dining hall fountain. Shout out my boy Keith Smith. That's my boy Smitty's dad. He runs NC State Dining.
Nice.
I put some miles on the soft serve machine, and I think I'm going to gold medal on serving up the prettiest soft serve cone.
Oh wow!
Here's a lot of cones. My sophomore year, we ate there freshman sophomore year a lot, but my sophomore year, you could throw a rock out of our dorm room window and hit the turnstiles at Fountain. And we had the swipe every 20 minutes pass. So the move is the cake cone, the superior ice cream vessel with 100%. one squirt of caramel, followed by 1 squirt of hot fudge, followed by a second squirt of caramel, and then you hit your chocolate vanilla mix swirl out of the middle scoop. You just take it onto the dorm room.
Incredible.
Does that make it back to the dorm room, though? Be honest.
No,
does that make it back?
It's a twofer. It's a big ob situation.
It's a big ob.
Sir, a second cone has hit the dormitory.
We would never.
That's a deep cut.
Dude, but we would never do it to Big All. But dude, if we could put that picture up with this,
it's the funniest picture ever. It really is.
We can't do it.
No, it is a 2 cone. I put on 60 pounds my first 2 years at NC State.
Good old freshman 60.
Freshman
sophomore 60. It was really the 3 semester 60. And then I kind of wrangled it. We went down to 1 cone.
All right, Ty-Hen, give us one more here.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go. I think this is something that the 3 Hendrix children would just like all podium in. Like we would just kind of own this podium, but it's obscure media references.
100%. Yes.
I think my brother and sister and I were all kind of cinephiles and meme fiends. And
yep.
In terms of a sibling data, media consumption, it's gonna be tough to beat the 3 of us. But Lindsay often asks me now when I say anything, she's like, "Oh, what's that from?" And I'm like, "That's me. I made that up."
It's a
a lot
tie-in
of time
original.
the answer,
It's
a lot of
completely
time
fair
the
question.
answer is like, oh, that's from such and such movie or such and such show, or I saw this little clip of something, but obscure media references working their way into normal conversation. I would say gold medal.
Nice.
Athletes.
Yeah,
Well,
I again
Hendrix Dynasty.
concur. Yes, I completely agree that all three of you, that is a notable strength.
Let me give a shout out to little Hendrix brother of the pod. My man got his first job a couple weeks ago. He
Let's
is
go.
hitting the cube. Proud of him.
Let's
All
go.
right.
The cube, man.
People who work in cubes are
Actually,
huge fans of the pod.
I take that back. He got an office. He has an
Wow.
office. Yeah. First job
King.
ever has an office. So
I
shout
love it.
out
for him.
Shout out Drewby.
All right, my last pick here. I'm going to take golf if the second shot is the one that counted. Just
Yeah, so
just
true.
like literally never been more dialed in than after I hit a really bad wedge shot and then drop one down and hit it to 3 feet and want to hit myself with a club. So second shot in golf for me. And then I guess it's Michael's turn since Michael jumped.
Sorry, I missed that. But my third pick here is going to be awkward small talk. I consider myself something a professional in this realm. Kate said yesterday that she thinks that it comes across as flirty. It's never intended to be flirty. It's always intended to be that I want to address the awkward situation that is that like me and a stranger have to spend a moment together. And so I always think that my way of overcoming it will be that I'll say something very friendly that like you wouldn't typically say to a stranger. Like the other night I made a joke to the person as we were checking out at Trader Joe's. I can't remember what the joke was about. I think it was something about my inability to tap my card or them bagging groceries. I don't know. It was, it was like, but Kate thinks that it comes across as flirty. I think it's just pure awkward small talk that other people don't like as much as me. But it always makes me feel like I had a little good interaction. I think I'd get I think I'd at least take bronze.
Nice. All right, so I got a couple of different options here. I thought about loud talking because I can loud talk just about anybody at any time for anything, and my children have lived with that.
Can attest, yeah.
Can attest. Katie gave me voice mimicking, sounded like she said like "My Devil Went Down to Georgia" rendition, or doing Grover from Sesame Street because I can do a pretty good Grover. But I decided to go with a couple of weeks ago, some of my boys from high school got together and I decided that I was going to try to get one of them up to dance, get him up to move out of his chair kind of a thing. And so I got my Spotify out. I hooked it up to the speaker in the kitchen and I rolled off about, I don't know, 30 or 35 songs from like the late 80s, early 90s when we would have been high school, college. And every single one of the ones that I pulled out, I knew every word to. And I was dancing and singing the 80s, 90s music, just grooving, trying to get him up out of his chair. Of course, he never got up and said that I was stupid for even trying to get him up out of the chair, but needless to say, so give me that gold medal in some 80s and 90s music.
Very good. Well, I just want to comment real quick that you did the same thing on the way to the Ryder Cup with Uncle Rex. And Uncle Rex, his response to you starting to play such music was like, I think the limited fake here is like, dude, what's your dad playing up here? Dude, what's your dad playing? And then he immediately started playing music on top of your music. I don't know if you recall this, but there was a good 5 minutes on the way to the Ryder Cup where you guys were both playing music on your phones. So I'm sure it was much more appreciated by Pete Edit and boys than it was old Rex. But
he would have been right there with them if he had been there for the entire week. He would have been hating on it as well. So.
Hey, you were the straw that broke the camel's back. You broke us over an hour. Yeah.
I think the people want more content. I really do. I mean, like, listen, me and redacted first name Baby Hendrix.
Unredacted. Yeah.
We've been. He loves listening to the pod. He thinks that it's just Michael talking to himself in a room because he only knows Michael. And he's like, Uncle Mike talk about the ice cats. Like
No way.
Yeah, no, he's like he'll like get a blurb or something, and it doesn't matter which one of y'all said it. It's all Uncle Mike.
It's all
Right.
Uncle Mike.
That's
but
funny because
I told him I was recording the pod with you guys tonight, and he was like, "Can I come with you?" And I was like, "Oh, buddy." But I do have a couple OLIs, and
Please.
Yes.
Vacuuming.
Oh wow.
I think most guys are trying to stripe up the lawn. This carpet in here, you are talking about stripe show, and I work on lawnmowers for a living. And then my other OLI, which I probably should throw in because it's kind of what started this conversation, but I never missed a math question on a standardized test.
how is this not your
Is
first
this
answer?
true?
This is true. I made a perfect score on every math EOG from 3rd to 8th grade, a perfect
Wow.
score on the math section of the SAT, and a perfect score on the math section of the ACT. So I'm in
Wow.
a gold medal along with my folks from the East with in the math department on standardized testing.
Oh my gosh. Hey, listen, I will say Mama the Pod liked the Stripe Show comment though. She turned around and said, Stripe Show?
No, listen, this place is dialed up. I'm about to put a roller kit on my vacuum. I love striping the carpet.
Oh my goodness.
I only had one OLI, and it was waking up 5 minutes before your alarm. I just feel like I constantly wake up and look over, and it's whatever.
Is it when you set an early alarm? I feel like
particularly yes.
I feel like my body is anxious to awake when I know
100%,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Well, I think you all probably tried to go humorous and not serious, but David Ray, you could have absolutely gold medaled in the Disney plan. I'm telling you.
Hey, that's
A
true.
Disney World trip. That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Mike, any
Yeah,
OLIs?
My only OLI was mustache. I do think that I'm going on a decade with this guy. I think that I'm going on a decade.
A decade might be generous. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing the Dan Levitard decade, which is like
Yeah.
anything plus or minus
Across decades. That's what he uses. Across decades, and it's like, how many?
This was like, I rarely contribute to Reddit, but at one point for the Levitard show, I was like, Dan calls anything within 5 years of 10 years a decade, which is so different. But that's exactly what I'm doing right here. So,
Okay,
this is my only OLI.
good stuff tonight, boys. Tahan, enjoyed it. We'll do it again.
I appreciate it, gentlemen. It has made my week when you guys asked me to be on. So I'll let you guys know what Grady Bug thinks of me and Uncle Mike chatting it up for an hour.
Yeah, right.
All right, that's it.
All right.
That's it for this edition of 2 Days in a Mic. Peace.